Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really trying to cut through all the noise on this rapidly escalating conflict. Israel, Iran, and now directly the United States.
Yeah.
Our mission really is to give you a shortcut to understanding what's going on, especially this huge shift, direct U.S. military action.
And it's critical, to grasp how fast this is changing. We've talked about a shadow war for years, right? Covert stuff, proxies fighting.
Right, indirect.
But now it's exploded. We're seeing overt, direct confrontation. The landscape's just completely different than even a few weeks ago.
Okay, so let's get into the immediate context. This latest round, direct Israel-Iran fighting. It really kicked off, around June 13th? Aerial attacks back and forth.
Israel's framing is preventing Iran getting nuclear weapons. Iran, of course, denies this, says its program is peaceful, and hits back.
The human cost is already staggering.
It really is. Reports coming out of Iran mention over 400 killed, maybe 3,000 wounded. And in Israel, at least 24 killed reported. Explosions in major cities, Israeli strikes continuing, including near Isfahan's nuclear site.
Which brings us to the really monumental shift. The U.S. stepping in directly. Sunday, June 22nd, President Trump's announcement, massive precision strikes.
Yeah, this Operation Midnight Hammer. It's a major strategic pivot. They use B-2 Spirits, the stealth bombers, and those heavy GBU-57 bunker busters.
Against the big nuclear sites.
Exactly. Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, using B-2 signals, stealth, deep penetration capability, and the bunker busters, designed for exactly these kinds of hardened, buried facilities.
And the U.S. claimed they did it undetected.
Right. Which, if true, isn't just a technical detail. It highlights a massive technological gap, potentially reshaping regional power dynamics. The stated objective was pretty blunt. Destroy Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, stop the threat.
Okay, so how did the world react? Predictably, I guess.
Pretty much. You had Russia and China condemning it straight away, warning about escalation, calling for everyone to step back.
And Europe.
More nuanced, acknowledging the U.S. aims stopping an Iranian bomb, but also urging Iran not to, make things worse, not to destabilize further.
And Iran's response?
Immediate and furious. Condemned it as a, quote, grave violation of the UN Charter and international law. Supreme Leader Khamenei promised punishment, talked about irreparable damage, even all-out war.
Wow.
And crucially, they didn't just talk. Iran's military threatened any country hosting U.S. forces used in the attack, said they'd be legitimate targets, and then they immediately launched more missiles and drones at Israel.
So this isn't just talk, they're actively broadening the conflict.
Exactly. It shows they're not backing down, despite the U.S. strikes.
So connecting the dots here, this isn't out of the blue. It's been building for decades, hasn't it? From proxies to direct hits, especially since '79.
Absolutely. It's a culmination. Think about the key steps. Fakhrizadeh's assassination in 2020, widely blamed on Israel. The ship attacks in 21. Then 2024 was a real turning point. Israel hits the Iranian embassy compound in Damascus. Iran retaliates directly against Israel for the first time ever, huge missile barrage.
Right, that was unprecedented.
Then Israeli counterstrikes. Later in 2024, key Hamas and Hezbollah leaders assassinated. Iran fires another 180 ballistic missiles. You see the steady chipping away at the shadows until, boom, June 2025. Overt warfare, leading directly to this U.S. intervention.
So the big question.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Striking nuclear facilities directly, what are the implications?
Okay, I think there are four huge ones. First, obviously, the risk of a much wider war just shot up. Iran's threatening U.S. bases now. Other actors could get dragged in. The threshold's been crossed.
Right.
Second, the future of Iran's nuclear program itself. How bad is the damage, really? Will this push them to leave the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and just go for broke on a weapon? Or maybe just accelerate covert work? Big unknowns there.
Okay, third.
Domestic politics. Huge gamble for President Trump, despite campaign promises, perhaps. But in Iran, these attacks seem to be rallying people, maybe strengthening the hardliners.
And fourth, the human cost.
Yeah, undeniably. Hundreds dead already, thousands injured. It just means more bloodshed, more danger for civilians. International bodies are, scrambling, pushing for diplomacy.
So looking just ahead, what happens next? What are the immediate paths this could take?
Well, all eyes are on Iran's next move. How big is the retaliation going to be? Diplomatically, expect intense activity. UN Security Council will definitely meet. And keep an eye on the neighbors, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states. Their reactions are crucial.
And all this is happening with the Gaza war still grinding on in the background.
Exactly. A hugely volatile mix.
It's a really sobering picture. This feels like a dangerous turn, doesn't it? From that long shadow conflict to open warfare involving the U.S. directly. The risk of a wider regional fire seems incredibly real.
It does. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Now that this line has been crossed, now that a global superpower is directly involved militarily after years of shadows, what are the really long-term consequences globally when these kinds of conflicts finally break out into the open like this? Something to keep thinking about.